I can't find my good hat. This hat looks like something an old lady would wear. Um, just an observation. I should. Well, I've complained about this before, but you'll hear. You'll watch a video and someone will, in comments, will say a typical comment like, "I'm 25 years old. I work 80 hours a week. I can barely afford my apartment, and all I wanted was the American dream. I can't afford the American dream. I just wanted a nice house to raise a family." This is someone 24, 25 years old, or even 30 for that matter. But I just want the American dream. I want to buy a house and raise a family. Nothing wrong with that. And I shouldn't harp on these people. It's not. I don't mean to criticize. It's just it was. These aren't the same people that I grew up with. It was just different. And they paint themselves as victims, and maybe they are. Maybe they're victims. Maybe they got totally screwed. Their generation can't afford a house, not paid enough, and working all this. Work. Can't afford a tent. I get it. Okay, that could be true. Who am I to judge? But the focus on this American dream of the house and the family, I find this just hilarious. If you're 25 or 26, maybe 27, 28, when you go back to when I was coming up, I'm 57. I graduated from high school in 1985. I think I was 26 when most people say when I bought my first home. I never bought my first home. You accepted the rules of a mortgage. So get this idea that you bought a home. You never bought a home until you actually sold it and maybe you profited on it. It's just a different kind of rent with equity. I was 26. I got my first mortgage. I think it was 8 something a month, which was huge. This was 95. And my dad did everything to put a gun to my head to get me to do it. It was like, in his eyes, it was a good deal because he knows property, he knows real estate. Okay, I didn't know it back then. And I did a video on this before. The place was, the guy, I took over the payments that someone had, took over his mortgage. I think it was $110,000. The place was appraised at 80. Interest rates were 11, which at the time wasn't bad. I was able to refinance it to like 8 or 9. Crazy. But my dad said, "You're going to do this because you got to get in the equity game. You got to get started. You get too old." Whatever. But the focus that these people I'm hearing are seeing today in these comments, that I want to do the American dream. I want to buy the house, raise the family. The 80s, early 90s, no guy worth his salt ever would have said that. That would not have been spoken. Hey man, we're out of high school. Great, school, no more school. School sucks. Don't ever want to do that again. That was me. I went to college for like a semester. Some people, yeah, high school's out. I'm going to go to college and become an engineer. I wanted to be an engineer. This focus was being an engineer. Someone else wanted to do medical. Some guy was, I'm going to go work at my uncle's mechanic shop and work on cars. I love that stuff, whatever. I'm going to go in the army. I'm going to see the world, man. I want to be a ranger or whatever the case is. Or some guy says, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know they're hiring framers for framing homes. I'm going to try that for a while. Always talk about what we're going to do, this, that, and the other thing. 5, 6, 7 years go by, you meet these people. Some may have reached that goal, or we're still doing that thing, whether it's college or framing homes or becoming a plumber or whatever the case was. Hey, how's it going, man? What are you doing? That was always the thing. Hey, what are you doing? Where you work? What are you doing? No one ever asked you. You married, got a house? No one ever said, oh, school's out. What do you do in the future? I'm going to live the American dream. I'm going to get a house, get married. Are you kidding me? You had brain sickness. That was never our focus. We were never, if someone had said, hey, dude, you're 25. You're not married. You don't have any kids. Yeah, dude, I'm partying. I'm having a blast. I know what you're talking about. I'm no part of that stuff. Marriage, the mortgage and all that stuff, that was something that just happened. And a lot of us, like me, avoided it as long as we could. I never did the wife and kids thing, okay? I think that'd be worse than a mortgage myself, but that's my opinion. But it was never a focus of this American dream, family, and a home. That just happened. You stepped into that somewhere, couldn't get it off your shoes. Okay, well, I guess this is the thing. She's been with me for, she put up with me for 5 years or 3 years. We're going to get married. She wants the house. She wants kids. And that's what we did. That was our attitude. It was never, I can't afford to. It's not that we couldn't afford to do it. Maybe it was cheaper for us. According to the numbers, I guess it is. It was way easier for us to get into it. We didn't want it. That was not the focus. Oh, man, I'm never going to get the American dream. We're like, I'm avoiding the American dream. I'm doing my thing and happy hour on the way home. And then I got this, I got that. I like to get a Harley. I go, oh, but wait, and then you end up with someone, you meet someone, and hopefully your relationship works out. Then she's pregnant. Maybe hopefully you're married. Now you got to get a house. You can't do it in that stupid ass apartment. And it was, oh man, I can't wait to have some kids and get a house. That was like catching a sickness. It's like, that was never the focus. And to hear these guys crying about, I'll never have the American dream. Dude, that was the plan. Party until you get stuck with it. What are you doing? Pissing and moaning. Oh, yeah, I don't make enough money, or I can't. You've watched too many Wrangler store videos. Everyone wants to have the dirt and all this kind of thing. And oh, my God. I tell you, wisdom is wasted on the youth. But that's everybody. That's what they want now. They have this idea that they want the mortgage, they want the wife and the kids. Great. I wish that for you. I hope you get that. But because it's not working out, they're just distraught. My God, we completely flipped that on its head. I mean, I had a friend. I was in my 30s. This is in the 90s. I was in my late 30s at the time. I had a friend of mine who was a bartender, go figure. I knew a handful of those. He was 26. He just turned 26. And I took him to a topless bar for his birthday. We're sitting there in this topless bar. He's getting a lap dance or whatever. And I go and I look at him. And he's crying. This guy's a bartender. This guy was a player. Had all kinds of women. But he also had a girlfriend. I look at him and he's crying. I said, dude, what's the matter? He says, man, I don't know. He says, I'm 26 years old. My friends have all gotten married. My brothers all have wives and kids. And he says, I'm 26. He goes, I might have missed out on the marriage and kids thing. Now, granted, this guy was easily 10 or 12 years younger than me. I looked at him like he grew a third eye in his forehead. Dude, you're in a topless bar on your birthday with a cocktail in your hand. And you're crying about it because you haven't got married and kids yet. So I talked him off the stool. I knew this guy wasn't stable, but anyhow, if it happens, it happens. He had a miserable girlfriend. He hated his girlfriend. I said, you got to get out of this stupid relationship. But he was a serious alcoholic, so they're all messed up. And I gave him the best advice I could. Say, hey, dude, you're lucky. You're not sick. You make a good living. He had a good job, and he was a bartender. He made tons of money. Living in an apartment, even though he was talking the American dream, he didn't go out and buy a house or nothing like that, because that's just not what we did. That just happened. And then I never hung out with him again. I didn't want to catch none of that stuff. Whew. My God, you're topless bar, and all of a sudden you're crying, but you don't have a mortgage. But that all changes. It's just funny to me how something we really avoided, knowing it was going to happen. And these people are seeking it and can't get it, supposedly, or painting themselves as victims. I can't be paid enough to afford the big home or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said, and maybe they're victims. I'm not going to argue that. Maybe they're victims. But if we have 11% interest on a mortgage, you were partying on that. That was like, wow. I came up in the stagflation years of Jimmy Carter, 16% interest. People sell a kid for 10%. Now they're wanted about 5 or 6 or whatever. Anyhow, I know I'm way out of touch, but it's just funny to me, the focus of the American dream. And I'm not speaking for all people of Generation X, but that's just the zillions of people I knew. Was never, hey, you want to get a mortgage? No. Well, that'll happen down the road. That was something you kind of did out of duty. You know, well, you know, down the road. Well, you know, we did the marriage thing and all that, kids and all that. That's down the road. We were not running to that. We were not crying because we didn't have it. It was just school's out, the party was on. Anyhow, I just think it's funny, a different perspective. People of that I knew of my time back then, and to see these people now. Really upset about something that we thought was just the perfect setup. I'll make another video of something else close to this. Say hi to the bull. This guy got reprieved. He was supposed to go, he was freezer bound on Monday. The guy called in with car trouble. These two here are gonna go. Huh. Love you, God bless.